Game number 1 in the second semi-final at the Rocket vs Sphere Invitational has started, with Garden of Terror being our first map between mYinsanity and SK Gaming. To the left side we have mYinsanity with Araragi on the Vala, Freds on the Arthurs, Ace of Spades is playing the Uther here, Shinobu has picked the Tigers, and Lowell is playing on the Illidan. Starting in red to the right side, the former El Nexo player Whipshout on the Rhaegar, now part of SK Gaming. BKB has once again the Anuburak. Linked now switching towards more of an assassin role, with him the Reyna being played, the Escape on the Stitches, and BZ playing the Falstad here. So, game on and down to the bottom of the map. Already 3 heroes starting to look towards the bottom lane. 3 heroes of SK are starting to maybe taking down Lowell here on the Illidan. That Illidan skin is one that never really did anything for me. I don't really like it all that much. But yeah, the Illidan is one of those heroes that we currently are seeing in... The Illidan is one of the heroes that actually can have a pretty big impact on the game, depending on how exactly it goes. It's great when you have the Tacita or Tyrael with him too, so that he gets a few shields and a bit of more support. But having the Uther in the mix is already extremely valuable, since you will have an opportunity to go for the burst heal. Illidan is being played in the European scene quite a bit. Lowell is very strong on him, as is Zamoni, who unfortunately is not playing anymore. He was a player for SK Gaming, probably their strongest one, hearing BKB talking about him. BZ down here is pressured a bit, but there's not really a whole lot going on in terms of like really putting him into a precarious situation. We have, on the other hand, in the mid lane, another attempt by mY to get an early kill against Whipshout. They're already looking for that. With another roaming squad at the top lane, BKB and Stitches are trying to go for that, just like hooking one of the mercenaries in. They were of course like hoping that they would get a hero with that. But yeah, the teams are just soaking experience right now. They are both very, very careful what to do here. Lowell was trying to go for the seeds, needed to move back. Nice moves by him. Oh, is he being dropped? Oh, the stun lock and the hook by the Escape. Really nice setup that we saw there by SK. I really thought at the beginning that he would be able to escape, but as it turns out, SK was ready for the rotation here, and they got that kill. So first blood for SK Gaming. They're nearly a level ahead, by the way. On top of that, we have them now rotating on the map and trying to get the additional seeds. The seed count is extremely close, especially now with SK taking that small camp at the side, taking down the Shamblers here. We have Araragi at the bottom lane, moving up to threaten BZ once more. But BZ has grabbed a lot of experience for his team in the meantime. So right now we are having already level 4, nearly 5 for Team SK. And they are moving in, but that might be a bit of a trap. We have Linked already moving in too. Oh, BKB! No, he does not get away here. Not with the Illidan. If you are up against an Illidan, running away is not an option. Illidan is always prepared. He just jumped in and took him down. And now, of course, with one hero down, they're trying to go straight for the seeds here. But a nice hook against Freds. The Escape is just great on that Stitches. We see SK prioritize the Stitches so highly, and for very good reason. The Escape is an amazing player on that hero, and his hooks are always just legendary. They're extremely good. He's exactly where he has to be. He has great positioning with it, and the hooks are usually spot on. And that's what not only dropped the Illidan, but it also dropped the Arthurs there. So it's like 2 kills versus 1 at this point. A lot of seeds for SK, and they're rotating down to take the next C camp, whereas the Falstad is apparently going for a bribe of the... No, he's not bribing. He's actually just going to the top lane, trying to soak the experience here. Down to the bottom lane, on the other hand, we have Arthur starting to move in. BKB needs to be careful. He's using his E to move out. And, of course, now mYinsanity with the attempt to take down the seeds and close those. But we have Falstad flying in, and enough seeds for SK to maybe get a plant. Not quite, but maybe they can get a kill. Freds is already low. Shinobu as well. The Howling Blast against Link helped them a bit, but BKB is starting to move in once again. He doesn't seem to have his stun ready, and they move back for now. But they have still a lead in experience, and they have a slight lead as well in the seed count that could help them later on. In the mid lane, We currently have Araragi still trying his best to push the opponent back. Whip Shout with the totem and the healing ward is also not the healing ward, but of course Lightning Shield is always doing the damage here against the creeps. To the top lane we have Linked and Lowell trying to duel it out, and at the bottom lane Ace of Spades versus BZ. Looking at the talents now that we hit level 7, we have currently for 2 heroes first aid being picked up for the Tychus and also for Lowell here. We have still a slam build for the Scape on the Stitches, but he goes for Tenderizer as his 7th talent. With Falstad we have 1 Bribe being used in the game. Tychus is currently using the Melting Point, but besides that it's more of an overkill build. And for Araragi we see the same build that we saw in the last game being used by Vala. Siphoning Arrow into Manticore into Searing attacks, so a lot of right click damage. Vala is an extremely fascinating hero in my opinion. Like there's so many builds with Vala right now, and from one week to another the meta will completely shift. You see for a long time the multi-shot build just dominate the scene. Before that it was the Rancor build. At some point we even had a completely focus on the Searing Arrow with the repeating ball and yeah, stuff like that, and right now it's the Searing Arrow build with the Manticore, just pure damage on the hero, and the only talent that the Vala players these days are seeming to get some experience or hit points back is the level 1 talent, which works quite well with of course the Hungering Arrow. So very well done so far by both teams, like getting the experience up again. We have a very, very close fight who's going to get level 10 first, and Link is in a lot of trouble here. He might actually be dropped by the Illidan. Illidan had an opportunity to jump in once more, but moves back, so Lowell, already using the first aid, has now to go back for now. We have a bit of a steal there by SK, getting that easy camp down at the bottom of the map. But maybe the opportunity now for mYinsanity to get back in experience and close that gap. We have the mercenaries at the top taken, and it doesn't really look like SK can do too much about that, but they are looking at that Illidan. They want to get the... No, they were actually like moving towards the left, already aiming for that mercenary camp, but it was just taking a bit too fast. Now they're looking more for the Illidan here. Oh, and Lowell just jumps back there once again. Not even hit by the spikes. He's a great player on the Illidan. You could really see how he's already threatening the Reyna the entire time. So with that additional mercenary camp now pushing the top lane, there's definitely like a lot of potential for Lowell to get a kill. But he needs to be careful. If there's a rotation towards the top, he's going to be the first target. But he's extremely mobile on the hero, and we've seen Lowell do great things on the Illidan already. Here comes the rotation to the top with SK trying to get the hard camp, and they're able to grab it. But those mercenaries are also doing a bit of damage towards that wall. Illidan is the only one up there, and he needs to be extremely careful now. With 4 heroes up to the top, there's nothing that he can do but hold the lane and get the experience. Down to the bottom lane, it's another 5 seconds until we're going to see the seeds. Shinobu with the melting point grenade again against that well this time, and both teams just divide the seeds up. Oh, Illidan! Oh, got hooked and gorged, and as you could just see there in the middle of the screen, they took him down once again. It's just Escape with those insane hooks every single time. That's going to be extremely difficult for the Illidan to escape from. He just doesn't have a shield this time. There's no Tacita, there's no Tyrael to help him out, so he relies heavily on his first aid and an ult that will heal him up. But since he's currently just trying to take the top experience there, it's very, very little that he can do against such a move. So level 12 versus level 11 now. We have SK still with that lead in experience. They are still holding on to that. And they are maybe even getting even farther ahead with now the fort at the top being attacked by 2 heroes. Linked on the Reyna can of course use the Inspire and help out with that. It's a fort for a fort on the other hand, since the bottom lane has been pushed in by mYinsanity, and they have the first plant moving in, and that's an extremely important one now as well. Both of them have the plant, but it's actually like BKB who arrives a bit fast at his opponent. So we have the offensive plant for SK and the defensive one for mYinsanity. The top has been pushed in, level 13 talent is ready for SK. That gives them a lead in this battle now, and they are starting to try and move in with this. We have the pots being dropped the entire time and trying of course to like move them out of the way as fast as they can so that the structures don't get too much damage. At the top lane the Night Camp has been taken out, but that tower is already out of ammunition. They won't be able to push it farther in though. Nice polymorph here against Shinobu, but it looks like mYinsanity is starting to push that in even a bit more. At the same time, we are currently seeing... Yep, we're currently seeing them go straight for the middle again. And that hook, we don't see him from escape just yet. He keeps the hook down. It's still on cooldown. Sorry, not on cooldown. He's off cooldown. He can still land that hook, and he's waiting for an opportunity. Gets the plant in and immediately burst damage dealt to the plant. They want to drop Lowell out of it as fast as they can, but the overkill of Shinobu is just pushing BKB back on his own plant. So here we have another pot being dropped, and it looks more and more like both plants are going to negate each other. Well, moving in here once again. The Rhaegar, of course, we're going to look at those talents in a second. Doesn't really look like we're going to see a team fight forced. So the Rhaegar, of course, with the Ancestral Healing. These days, you don't see Bloodlust being played in competitive play all that often. And especially SK with the comp that they currently have, relying on that heavily. We also have both of the teams now picking up the 13 talent, where we see not only, of course, the Rewind, but we have quite a bit of Relentless taken. Now the fight starting finally. The Mercenary camp is already grabbed, and here we go with the Ancestral Healing being used. The Metamorphosis has already been dropped, but immediately the Gorge by Stitches on the Illidan, and Illidan is in trouble, is jumping in again, and he drops the Reina, but he himself gets killed too. Fred is extremely low and tries to move away. Shinobu is covering their retreat with Odin. He's still on full HP on this one, but Araragi jumps in with the Vala. He needs to be extremely careful against the hook, against the stuns that we see there. He's very, very low. His right-click damage that we currently see is definitely doing damage. He might be able to drop this game. He's going for it right now, hunting a multi shot behind his opponent, but he does not get close enough to drop the right clicks that would have taken out the Stitches. So again, still that tiny lead in experience that we see for SK. It's an exchange between kills. It's a 1-for-1 again. 4 kills against 2 that we see overall in the game, and both teams are now focusing a bit more on their own mercenaries. So really, really well done here. Looking at the Vala build once again, since we were talking about her earlier, we have the Rain of Vengeance picked off, which is the standard heroic ability in team fights these days for the extra stun. We have actually like the Anubu Rock a little bit out of position there. Giant Killer was taken by Araragi as well, so he should actually have a decent DPS with that. And SK, they're not going for seeds. It's hunting season for SK. They're going in for the hunt. They're trying to drop a hero here, and Araragi is already a bit low. BZ's jumping in there too. The hook against Freds, and he's getting dropped by all 5 of them. Suddenly it's a 4 versus 5. BKB is trying to catch one of them to lock him down. He's going for Shinobu, misses the Impale though, and now they're just like rotating towards the Shamblers and trying to take those extra seeds. Good job by SK, once again getting a slight advantage in the game and getting the map position. Getting the position on the map for both teams. We now have another plant growing, but of course with another 10 seconds on the Arthurs, SK can now move to the top and try to drop another plant to like get those additional seeds. mYinsanity finds himself on the back foot. They are not really too far behind. It's only a 3-kill difference between the two teams, but it's still something that needs to, it will worry them a little bit. They are in a position where one team fight can completely snowball the entire thing now, and that earlier 16 talent could play to their disadvantage quite heavily. We currently have the plant being hooked. Oh, they're trying to drop Lowell out of the plant, but they don't really want to move into that close encounter. If there's like, the plant can control those small gaps here just way too easily. So instead, they're just standing there, losing time on their plan, and SK, they want to go for the 16 as fast as they can. And that's what they're currently trying to do. Wait for the 16, fight with additional talent. Nice hook against Lowell. Whoa, that damage against the plant. Really well done. He needs to be extremely careful that he doesn't lose the plant too fast, especially since BKB hasn't suffered any damage whatsoever just yet. 16 talent is on the board, and the fort goes down. MY is still waiting for their own talent, but it looks like SK is trying to exploit that situation as much as they can, and they're going straight down to the bottom, trying to drop the fort, or at least the wall here. And what is mYinsanity doing? They have Lowell all the way up to the top. He's using the sprint to move down as fast as he can, but the wall is already broken, and that well might go down as well. The long hook that we see from Escape hitting nothing this time, but they are once more moving in against the fort here. BKB still blocking everything at the front, and yeah, being the meat shield for his team, acting as a buffer here. We have him dropping out of the planet another 10, but Lowell is so low, and here comes the Metamorphosis. BZ's trying to drop with a shotgun, or maybe the Illidan doesn't get him. Great Rain of Vengeance against Ripshout here by Araki. Takes him out, and Stitches is gonna fall as well. mYinsanity in a heartbeat turns it around, and it is hunting season. and they take down every single SK player in the lineup except for BZ. Very nice ultimates that we saw there. They saw an opportunity. Lowell got caught out actually. That initiated the whole battle, and suddenly with Metamorphosis and of course the Rain of Vengeance, they dropped them one after another. The healer was taken out first. There was no chance for Rhaegar to move back after he got hit by 2 of the stuns. That stun lock was something he couldn't escape, and Araragi just like dropped him with his right clicks, activating the Searing Arrow and going full ham on him. Looking at the stats right now, look at that hero damage that we currently have. With the Vala only 12k, but it's Shinobu and the Tychus that just does so much damage right now. 20k on him already, and the rest is all SK Gaming. Reyna, Anubarak, Stitches, and Fawcett, all of them dishing out as much DPS as they can. But definitely in the last fight, Araragi, the man of the hour, not only with the Rain of Vengeance, but then also with the drop against the Stitches and the Rhaegar. Once again, they're trying to utilize the advantage that they have now, not only experience, but also map control, to get the camp. Oh, a bit late on the drop on the night camp. That could have backfired. With another hook on escape, they could have lost a lot there. Okay, let's see. Up at the top, what do we have there? We have still that night camp occupying SK Gaming that allows mYinsanity to get the mercenary camp to the left side. I love these two teams going up against each other. It's just great. It's a treat. It's really so good. They're two of the best teams that we have in the European scene right now, even with the lineup changes that we have for SK Gaming. And it's just amazing to see them just like rotating through the map, trying to fight for every single inch there and position themselves in the fights. Their builds once again, Fred's a bit out of position. This game sees an opportunity, hooks him in, and here come Reyna's Raiders. That DPS is just way too much. Lowell is jumping in and trying to do something here, but he can't. And we have Araragi with a quick Rain of Vengeance in a close encounter, but now suddenly SK is starting to turn things around. Shinobu, he's so slow. Oh my god, Escape, how did you miss that hook, buddy? He misses the hook. That was really bad by him. Ace of Spades runs in, drops the stun, and then sprints away. But this opens up the fort at the bottom for SK Gaming. I cannot believe that they don't take it. I cannot believe that they don't drop the fort here. They're getting the seeds, which is important, but that was a free fort for them, and that would have given them an elite experience. At the top lane, we see the fort being attacked by 2 siege giants, and they might actually drop it. So SK should really take the fort at the bottom. It's a free fort to take. They're not going to be able to contest the terror up at the top. So they need to get the seeds and then just move in and drop the fort, and it looks like Linked and BKB are the 2 heroes that want to do that. They're already moving in, starting to drop it. Both teams have a plan growing now, and it's going to be a fort for a fort. So the fort goes down. That gives SK a bit more experience than their opponent's team. Both teams are looking at the level 18 now. We have at the top lane, of course, the double mercenaries here, the siege giants taking out the fort as mentioned before, which brings mYinsanity a bit closer to level 19 than SK. And it's extremely important, since you want to have that 20 as soon as you can, to get that additional put on the talent. The thing is also that we have on the... well, how many resurgents do we actually see for mYinsanity? They're probably going to have the resurgent on the Arthurs, and that's about it. We have a double resurgent, I would say, on SK. I don't think that the Stitches is going to pick Blink or anything else, and for Nubarak I would be very surprised to not see the Resurgence there. Resurgence, at this point, teams argue that it's still too strong, and Blizzard apparently has changed the cooldown already for the Blizz conversion up to 3 minutes. Right now it's still on 2. Oh, the escape with the attempt for the hook. We have the plant actually up here to the top left, and it looks like BKB is going to try and take a fort, but we have the entire mYinsanity team pushing in right now. I'm not sure if that's a smart choice by BKB there, because that keep is gonna fall. They're not gonna defend that, not with only 4 heroes and without a plan. And we could actually see mYinsanity trying to core it, and they're going for it already. And moving back with that plan is going to take an eternity, but BKB is apparently trying to sprint back. He's dropping another pot, and then he starts to sprint back. Here comes SK. Oh, they drop Ace of Spades. Very nice move by them, but the core is rushing down, and I don't think that they have the lineup to really defend. Not with the Odin there. It's game. It's GG. They drop it, and mYinsanity take the first map against SK Gaming. Nice move there in the end. SK with a bit of a misjudgment, and the 1-0 lead for mYinsanity in the best of 3 series at the semifinal. Second game in the best of 3 series at the semi-final of the Rockhard vs. Sphere Invitational. We have game number 2 between SK and mYinsanity. mYinsanity currently in a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series. And starting to the right side, we have mYinsanity. To the left, it is SK with BKB on the Arthurs, Escape on Stitches, BZ playing the Tigers, Linked the Nova, and Whipshout the Brightwing. And to the right side, as mentioned before, in red we have mYinsanity with Ace of Spades on the Uther, Lowell on the Tacita, Frets on the Anubarak, Shinobu this time with the false set, and Aragi is playing the Zeratul. So definitely a bit of a lack of tanks that we see for the mYinsanity boys. We have them with only the Anubarak up at the front line. He can of course be assisted by the burst heal from the Uther and the shield from the Tacita, but it's still one of those positions where you would really love to have either a Chen or something along those lines in your lineup. Chen was banned though, and we have Stitches and also Arthurs taken by SK, so there was very little chance for mYinsanity to get a heavy hit point, like a hit point heavy tank at the front. They banned the Abathur, and then later on were like trying to ban out the Rhaegar to force SK into at least the Brightwing, and that has a pretty simple reason behind it. If you are facing a comp like that is relying on 2 frontliners, 2 tanks, and extreme hit point heavy tanks at that, you don't want the ancestral healing, and you don't want to deal with that. Oh, the double initiation. First SK is moving in, and then the immediate counter by mYi. Ace of Spades, the one who they were trying to drop, survives, and BKB died. And now we have of course the first blood here for mYinsanity, so very well done by mYinsanity. Good job by them. In the mid lane we have the Escape on the Stitches, probably his favorite hero. His hooks are very good, and that gave mYinsanity a lot of trouble in the last one. Up to the top we currently see the Falstad dealing with Whipshout here. Of course Shinobu won't have a big problem pushing the Brightwing back. To the right side we have the first mercenary camp taken. That's like the early attempt in the game to just get some map presence, get some camps on the map. The rest of the team is just like trying to play it safe and of course gather up experience. The Nova is going to try and roam a bit. And what we predicted earlier with the Zeratul and the Anubarak forming a gang squad is now becoming a reality. It's a great move if Frets can move in with the first stun, then use the Impale for the second one, and Zeratul just dishes out the damage and maybe even slows the target down. So that's what they're currently looking for, and the Tigers of course is a target that is extremely juicy. Like, they really want that hero, and BZ knows that as well. He knows that he's going to be one of the first targets for the opponent, so he needs to play that very careful, especially since of course Ace of Spades can move in with the stun as well. To the top we have Nova and Arthurs trying to do the same thing to the Griffin down there, but it's for both teams actually becoming extremely dangerous now. We have the first tribute spawning on the map. Oh, BZ gets stunned, the stun lock is there, and he's getting dropped, doesn't stand a chance. So the second kill for mYinsanity already, and that gives them half a level lead over SK. SK is moving towards the tribute. They are trying to get in position for that, but of course we still have the Tigers moving back right now, and BKB finds himself in trouble as Araragi jumps in. Araragi on the Zeratul is low, he's low, and he dies. Araragi goes down, Whipshout with the damage, the falls start flying in now. Shinobu immediately barrel rolling over those hayball thingies, trying to get towards the mid lane. We have the tribute still there, and it's level 6 versus 6 with Escape missing a hook against Frets on the Anubarak, and it looks like they might be able to get the tribute. No, they don't. Ace of Spades moves in and disrupts it, and the stun by Frets saves him for now, but here comes Link dishing even more damage up to the Ace of Spades, and he dies as the Escape gets another one of his hooks in. Really well done by him, but suddenly the Arthurs is in trouble as well, and he goes down, dropped by Shinobu in the last second, and Escape himself is also biting the dust. 2 heroes down now for SK, and that gives mYi the opportunity to grab the first tribute here. We still have them with level 7 versus level 6, so that's an extra talent for SK now. For mYi actually. And SK, they are of course trying to close the experience gap. It's 2 kills versus 4. And up to the top we see the Falls that just are jumping the lanes, trying to get that extra EXP for his team and soaking that up. The Brightwing is trying to do the same thing, flapping his wings as fast as it can. Brightwing is probably the creepiest hero in the entire game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you never really played him. Next time Brightwing is on the free rotation, you should give him a go. and his voice chat and everything that the little guy says is very, very creepy. We have Brightwing is actually my number 1 creepy hero. Number 2 is the Pedo Dwarf, aka Muradin with a candy skin. If you have that, like, I always just like imagine him in my head like approaching a little kid and like trying to give him some candy and being like extremely nasty. Not really a picture that you want to have when you talk about a frontliner, but still, it's something that crosses my mind every now and then. Shinobu is getting crossed here by 3 heroes, and Brightwing might be the counter kill. Nope, he gets away. The false set has been dropped there. Once again, linked with the damage on the Nova, and they might get the tribute. Yeah, there's no contest now by SK. SK is still ahead in experience, but at this point, there was very little that they could do. Losing the false set this early before the tribute fight, they couldn't really move in and try and take that. That just doesn't work out. To the bottom lane, we have again Ace of Spades soaking up his experience. Up at the top, it's Ripshot. The false that is flying in to get even here. We have in the mid lane the mercenary camp taken out by 3 heroes now, making sure that those towers don't go down just yet. And at the same time, down to the bottom lane, another push coming in now with 2 mercenary camps and making their way in there. It's really nice to see those teams just going for kill, kill, and counter kill. Oh, Shinobu! Oh! I think BKB got a bit surprised there to see the false set in that position and was like, oh wow. Yeah, I should probably have used that Howling Blast a bit faster. Tribute spawning at the bottom. We have level 10 versus level 10. And the heroes are starting to move in. The Brightwing can, of course, always jump in as the false set needs to fly in. Here they come. And do they see? Yeah, they see lies. They move away. But the nice stunts here by Ace of Spades. That saves the Anubarak for now. But the question is, will he be safe for long? Nice precision strike, at least hitting Ace of Spades, but look at that Void Prison. Very well done here by Araragi on the Zeratul. They're going for the tribute now, and it looks very unlikely that mYi is going to engage again. No, they are released. Oh, actually, a nice cancel there by Ace of Spades, buying them even a bit more time, but that's the... Yeah, in the end, I think this is going to be the second tribute for SK Gaming, and it is. Looking at the talents now, we have an overkill build for the Tigers, slam build completely even with the toxic gas for Stitches. Not too many surprises besides that. Gathering power taken, of course, for the Falstad, for the Zeratul, for BZ. We have the usual Nova build. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Brightwing has picked up Bribe, and we have Shinobu with the same talent on level 1. The one thing that we could maybe point out is that Zeratul went for block here, which helps him a bit against the Nova, I guess. So, and also, of course, against the Arthurs, for example. So that may be a bit of a deviation that we have in the normal builds that we usually see for the competitive teams. At the bottom lane now, with the boss, we have a push coming in. To the top lane, on the other hand, there's another boss pushing for mYi. So both teams are really utilizing that strength now. And Bribe attempt, nice. Shinobu actually knows now, of course, thanks to the vision on the minimap, that the entire team of SK was at the bot lane, and so he just jumps in, bribes the mercenaries, and they are already starting to push that lane in. Smart move by mYinsanity, really well done. They get a fort, they can push this even further in, and they are right in position for the tribute. Great position for the tribute right now. And to the left, we have BKB trying to grab the tower, and he does, but already the attempt to attack him from every angle. Oh, it's a BKB sandwich. Those are tasty, and he is dead before the fight even starts. Holy cow, that shock and awe. Getting 3 heroes. No way that SK moves in to try and contest the tribute now. Not when they're down a hero and low in HP. So very close to level 13 now for both teams. They're fighting for every kill, for every tribute. Every single inch on the map is fought over. 5 kills versus 3 now, and the mid lane crash out hard by mYinsanity. They try to utilize that extra talent, but of course the 13 is going to come into play very soon for the opponent's team as well. So the disengage by mYinsanity, they've done the damage already, and they just move back for now. The 13 talent is now being taken. We have Spell Shield by the Anubarak, a very good choice when you're up against the Nova. Also on the Arthurs taken. Same talent here, double rewind, actually a third rewind as well, and both of the teams are just looking for opportunities to engage here. Once again, the push this time by SK towards the middle. Nice stun against BKB, didn't do really too much. And mYinsanity not fighting just yet, they are just like rotating back behind the fort and are waiting for SK to engage here. We've seen them turn fights around. We've seen them just like going from one second to the other into super hyper aggressive mode and starting to chase opponents. This time they don't do that. They go for the siege camp and wait what SK's next move is going to be. Of course, mYinsanity knows that they are still ahead in experience, so they still have a pretty good position here on the map itself. They're looking at the 14 talent, oh sorry, not the talent, but the level 14 already, and it's all about the next tribute. You don't want to lose a hero before the next tribute spawns. BKB moves in, has a quick check over there to the right side if that hard camp is being taken by other opponents, and that's the case. The Escape is waiting for a hook, and wow, that's... yeah, with a fishing hook talent it would probably have hit, but that is not for another 2-3 levels. We have now both teams angling towards the tribute here, trying to position up probably. The party bush is already there. The Escape has his own. He's going to hook this in just a second, and there it is. The hook against our Ragi, but the lockdown with the Howling Blast is a bit too late. Now 1 or 2 of the abilities are down. The Snipe against Ace of Spades heals himself. And again, the same setup. Both teams trying to look for an opportunity to initiate. Of course, up at the front, Freds is waiting for maybe a shot to go in and stun. BKB is dodging that without a problem at all. And Escape, always dangerous. With just one simple hook, he could turn this around. If he gets the false stat, for example, or if he gets, let's say, the Uther, he could do so much damage with that. Another hook, prediction hook, not hitting anything, but it's always that threat of it hitting you, so you have to be very cautious of how you do deal with that. Down to the bottom lane, there's, by the way, a push with the mercenaries, so a big problem for SK. They're losing time here, and mY knows that the only thing that they have to do is buy the mercenaries on the bottom lane time to drop another fort, and they will get even farther ahead in experience. Always the deny against the channel. BKB, apparently he's had enough. He's starting to move in, overextending, and there comes the shotgun. Oh, BKB is about to go down. The Brightwing is trying to push them back, but it's too late already. BKB goes down. Great Void Prism again against Link and Escape. Took both of the heroes out of the fight completely. The stun there as well. Brightwing was dropped now too. And with 2 heroes down, this tribute goes to mYinsanity. Now we have SK Gaming cursed down at the bottom lane. We see those 2 mercenaries already drop the fort. And of course that push is going to become even stronger now. Up here in the middle suddenly a kill against the Anubarak, but it costs them. It costs them 2 heroes. Stitches is getting killed and Beast is not going to make it either. The Tigers is dead, and that is now 4 heroes down. Actually, Arthur's is already back and Brightwing will be, but this fort in the mid lane does not stand a chance, obviously. 9 kills against 4. mYinsanity is already in the lead in the best of 3 series. If they take it here, if they win on Cursed Hollow, then we are going to see El Nexo in the finals against mYinsanity. Shinobu with a bribe there once again. We have them rotating down towards the boss. Still 6 seconds on the Tigers. And of course with the curse active and those mercenaries pushing in, there has to be a reaction from SK Gaming. They cannot simply just stand there and let those mercenaries take down the keep while the curse is active. So they know, of course, this means boss. They know that, but they can't do anything about it. Rotating towards that, maybe losing a hero and then losing the game is not an option. And of course the immediate jump up to the top lane and trying to deal with boss number 2, while SK has to defend against the boss at the bottom lane. So the entire map control is now in the hands of mYinsanity. SK is waiting for the level 16, which is going to hit any second so that they can get the additional talent. Up at the top here, we have the boss pushing in, but now with 16 talents against 16, it's still anybody's game to take, even though the position, granted, for mY is better. In terms of talents on the 16, as you can see, we have double stone skin taken for BKB. That's going to help him a lot in the next 3 fights. And also on the Tigers, Nova with the overdrive, which is going to be nasty, and the overdrive talent on Shinobu's false stat is of course also a given. And at the same time now, one of the problems that we still see here is that we have Nova, I think, still without a death. She should have quite a few, but she should have with gathering power actually like a lot of damage. She should be able to pack punch, let's just put it like that. We have the boss moving in, you never want to fight on top of that. If you fight, you want to move around it. Oh, the stun against Escape! Oh my god, Freds misses it completely. Araragi gets melted, but the Escape is getting kills too, so it's a kill for a kill. And here comes the Shokunar dropping BZ out of the Odin form, but they're still trying to fight it out. Freds is getting low. We see Link moving in with another attempt to drop Freds. Can he get maybe another? No, he can't get anything in there. Not a pinning shot. The keep is down. It was a really nice hook that we saw there from the escape, and then also the drop against Araragi. But still, they lost a hero as well, and of course that keep that was just destroyed is the bigger story. Now the top lane is going to push even harder in the future, and we have the team getting another camp. They're just stealing the night camp now. They know they can and they go for it. Oh no, they retreat. They actually retreat. They don't want to lose a hero here. Good job by SK, actually going for that. I didn't expect it, but oh, Freds, he's sped up. Bright Wing, made it just a tiny little bit faster. Is that going to be enough? Oh, wow, Lol with a dodge on the Howling Blast. Yeah, retreating and saving that escape with another storm. So well done by mYi, but still, it's now a 5 versus 5 for the Tribute. And that would be Tribute number 3 for SK Gaming. Gets the hook against Araragi, so Blink is down now. The Storm against BKB, cancelling the channel, and of course Freds is going to go for a stun here. Well, not even able to dodge that, but now those abilities are all in cooldown, not for much longer though, but SK still has an opportunity there. Another hook attempt, 5 kills against 10 so far in the game. Both teams looking for that setup, the double tank at the front for SK, that might be their saving grace in this game. Link is already moving in with a nice snipe against Lowell, getting him very low here, when Link just waiting for his, oh, there comes the snipe, oh, he moves into the Void Prison, great save there in the end. BKB is getting dropped, what a nice shock and all timing here from Shinobu. Araragi is low and had to move back, but BZ dropped out of the Odin form that he just popped in last second, and now suddenly Araragi about to die, but not before he drops another hero. Stitches is down, and now SK is 2 heroes short. We have a 5 versus 3. Araragi is trying to channel the Tribute, and he's actually going to get it, but we have still the Anubarak paying with his life for it. Paying with his life for the block, but I guess it's still worth it. Denying the opponent the curse and also getting another Tribute. Moving back, trading 1 kill for 2. It's a good move there. Lowell took one snipe right between the eyes and barely survived that. But both teams are really fighting to the teeth. It's an extremely enjoyable game that we see by them. Great rotations on the map. 12 kills against 6 now. We have them closing in on the level 20, and mY with a great lead here. Not only in experience, taking an entire level, but also, of course, with the moves on the map here, with the positioning, and all of that with not really having a big tank there. It's just the Tacita shields and the heals by the Uther that make it possible for them. And of course, those great Void Prisons that we've seen by Araragi. In some of the fights, even being able to like isolate 2 heroes, completely taking them out of the fight and then fighting a 5 versus 3, so to say. So the Tribute is spawning again, and SK is already in position for it. What is mY doing? Are they going to contest it? They just respawned on Freds with the Anubarak, and it looks very much like they're going to give it up. And that means Curse. Curse again against mY, but they nearly have the 20. And if they have the 20, they can fight at any time. And that's exactly why we see Shinobu down at the bot lane. He wants the experience for the 20. And they're going in for that. They're starting to group up and roam as 5 again. The lanes are, of course, going to push in now. And SK needs to use that as their advantage, I guess. But they will still have to fight against the additional talent. At the top lane, that fort is pressured, but Shinobu jumps in and is gonna be assisted by Araragi, both of them using that lane immediately. And it looks like we're actually just simply having that boss taken at the bottom here. Yeah, as long as mY has to defend the lanes against the pushing power that we have combined with the curse, that boss is gonna be a freebie, but they themselves can of course now try and get the boss up at the top. But I guess that we're gonna see a contest by SK Gaming. Level 19 versus 20. It's risky. It's risky. What are you going to do? I mean, there's an additional talent on your opponent's team. Can you be there fast enough to contest it? And I think the answer is definitely no, because that boss is already dead. And are they really going to move into that? I don't think that would be a wise choice. The problem is there is no real good choice for SK now. An entire level at this point in the game is very difficult to farm. They have the boss going strong against the keep at the bottom, but of course another issue that is currently existing is that mY is pushing with their own boss and there's no keep any longer. So they're going straight for the core. That hook not doing anything. Good positioning by mY, and now BKB maybe a bit too far out there. Gets stunned. Here comes Ace of Spades with a stun, and goodbye Arthurs. He's already dead. He doesn't have the 20. No resurgence for him.
And the Nova is being taken out here in just a second by Araragi. Drops the Nova, 3 heroes down. Stitches was already dead as well, and down goes the Brightwing. Only BZ surviving, and this will be the 2-0. mY is going to take this series without dropping a map. They drop their core down. 4 heroes are dead. Good job by mYinsanity, taking down SK Gaming with a 2-0 in the semifinal of the Rockhard vs. Sphere Invitational and advancing to meet El Nexo in the finals.